Let me share a narrative that one of my subscribers entrusted to me. Here it is. I receive numerous messages these days, emails, comments, and even the occasional direct message arriving in my inbox from individuals who've endured tough times. Some are merely expressing frustration, others seek help, and a few, like this one, seem to have insights worth sharing. This narrative struck me deeply when I first encountered it. Not because it's an extraordinary, unique story you might find in a film, but due to its painfully common nature. It's the sort of situation that creeps up on you. The gradual erosion of a life you believed you had under control. Therefore, when this man reached out, I could sense the heaviness of his words. He'd been ground down and discarded after a decade and a half of marriage, and he wanted to transform his wounds into a cautionary tale for someone else. I admire that. There's a raw sincerity in taking your turmoil and striving to give it significance. My tale isn't anything novel. I'm not asserting it's some revolutionary saga that will redefine the principles of relationships. However, it might present a valuable insight for any other individual out there to sidestep my predicament. You see, I've experienced enough to understand that often, the most important lessons don't originate from self-help experts or the polished influencers showcasing their ideal lives. They arise from those who have lived the realities, the ones who've looked into the depths of their own errors and emerged on the other side with insights to share. That's who I am now. Take heed of my experiences as a 40-year-old father of 3 children. 3 small beings I would still move mountains for, even after everything unraveled, and presently divorced. Yes, that's the catch. The paperwork is finalized. The house is quieter than it has ever been, and I'm left piecing together a life I scarcely recognize now. But before you dismiss me as merely another resentful ex-husband, listen to me. This isn't about assigning blame. It's about what I wish I had been aware of when I still had a chance to navigate the ship away from the rocks. So here's a bit about myself initially. I used to be the leader of the group. I wasn't aware of it then, but I was the person guiding everyone. Taking charge, I played the guitar, and I participated in weightlifting. At that time, my partner was there with me. I loved her deeply. She was an educated individual, and I also had a lucrative corporate position. Life was good. Then came the next development. She uttered, "Let's have a child." We had been married for 6 years at that point, and life was good. So I thought, why not? I cherished the idea of having children, so I said yes. During that period, I also wanted to establish my own business. I had the funds and the expertise, but any venture involves risk, and this one did too. To cut a long story short, I ran that business for 5 years. 2 of those years were successful, but the rest were disasters. Complete disasters. Debt accumulated, and there was no assistance from her. She was the queen of her own life. She didn't want to reduce her expenses or create a budget. She didn't have to, and didn't want to. So our debts began to rise considerably. Every time I would devise a plan to eliminate that debt, she would create complications again. Nothing overly elaborate, but sufficient to sink us. I never took the lead, never challenged her on it. Then came the unexpected raise. She was making 50% more than I was. Disrespect ensued. I was having a tough time making ends meet. I had a long-term client, but I wasn't earning anything close to what I had in my previous job. That's when the disrespect began. She had no regard for me. I started caring for the children. I was a good father, but I had lost the strength I once possessed. I was losing my hair. I had been diminished to a shadow of a man with no trace of masculinity left. And then she began to exercise, fanatically, married for 15 years. And at the gym is where she encountered him. Married for 15 years. But it wasn't sufficient for her. Reflecting on it, I'd say she wanted a man like that. A handsome yet foolish redneck. He didn't take any nonsense from her. And even though he earned significantly less than her, it was inconsequential. So Guillermo's 15th anniversary arrived. She abandoned ship and left the children. She pursued him. I followed him as a paranoid individual. I uncovered everything they were doing in emails, messages, and texts. I was left utterly devastated. It took me months to completely heal. Fantastic. Now that you have this narrative, I have some lessons for you. 1. Every woman has the ability to act as my ex did. All of them. It's inherent to their nature. Once they attain dominance in the relationship and begin earning more, they sever all connections and loyalties. Additionally, they possess a great deal of mental baggage and challenges that a man must navigate. If you leave her to her own devices, all she will do is create chaos. I've witnessed this pattern occur not just in my life, but in numerous stories shared online and through discussions. It's not universal, yet it's prevalent enough to observe. Power dynamics fluctuate, and loyalty can diminish when status shifts. 2. Some men are going to claim women are malevolent in that regard. Women are not malevolent. It's simply their instinct. You could rationally explain to a woman all day about her perspective and what she is likely to do. She will never accept it. She will never comprehend it, because women themselves frequently do not understand what they desire. What is flawed in society is that men as a whole are willing to embrace what women are. Society has, however, vilified man's authentic nature. Women pursue status and excellence, and lose attraction when a man's status diminishes. Men also pursue women for their appearance and relish competition and power. Society has vilified that aspect of a man's character and despises him for it. That's what needs to be altered. We're ensnared in a cultural predicament where neither side is wholly understood or accepted for who they are. 3. Love is not a fraud. We merely idealize it excessively. There are still kind women out there. You simply need to locate them and be cautious about your choice. Some women are genuinely kind and will love you, but that love will be contingent. Like everything, that's its nature. It's a challenge, an ongoing endeavor that you contribute to. The only pure, unconditional love is parental love. Every other love outside that is based on mutual trust and effort. If you wish to feel the happy chemicals, you must work for it. Love is a genuine thing. It's just not a bed of roses. I've known couples who make it succeed, but it's always a two-way street with clear boundaries. 4. I've encountered men who have been diminished to mere shells by their wives. They never initiate confrontation when it's genuinely necessary. They'll tell me, "Hey, if I say that to her, she's really going to explode." If she wields so much influence over you in the relationship, you might as well dye your hair and start taking care of the kids full-time. If you're so frightened of your wife that you can't utter a word or two, are you even a man? That's akin to a boy who fears his mom will be very angry because he returned home late. Standing up for yourself isn't about being aggressive. It's about self-respect. Too many men forfeit that and question why they are unhappy. 5. Women experience emotions like a roller coaster. You won't find a woman who has an attractive physique and the rational thought process of a man. Even attempting to make sense of her feelings or trying to enforce a pattern to them is pointless. You can't predict them logically or even help her through them. She will simply generate more and more problems, making the situation so complex that you end up feeling exasperated. They constantly experience varying emotions at different moments. That's how they function, through their feelings. Most of the time, she doesn't even truly believe what she's actually expressing. It simply is that way. I've come across studies and discussions where men try to solve this issue. It's not a riddle. It's a wave you ride, not a code you decipher. Western men are apprehensive about marriage. When you venture out there and genuinely start listening to the stories, you come to realize why Western men have begun to fear marriage. They're concerned they will end up living like roommates in their own home. They're worried they'll continue to provide financially and do all the hard work while she lounges around in makeup all day doing nothing. They're fearful because any counsel they receive regarding their marriage will revolve around being kind to your woman and treating her like she's a goddess. It's as if society as a whole has forfeited its masculinity and dignity. They're scared that while they're out there toiling away, she's back at home disparaging their father. They dread watching their children grow up resenting their dad for how he treated their mom, because mom knows best and has indoctrinated them since childhood. They're afraid of reaching the end of their patience, but unable to start a conflict or even touch her once, because heaven knows it's going to take only a moment for her to become the divorce victim when all she did was complain and stir up drama. And when all is said and done, they still have to support the now unattractive, overweight, 40-year-old divorcee who never accomplished anything in her life, enjoyed a life of luxury, and felt not a shred of gratitude for it. That's everything we have for today, everyone. If you found this video enjoyable and helpful, entertaining, or simply intriguing, why not spread the love and share it with your friends, family, coworkers, or even that random neighbor you greet each morning? You know, the person with the unusual mailbox shaped like a flamingo. Feel free to give it a thumbs up as well. It's a simple act that means a lot to creators like me and assists others in finding this content in the vast ocean of the internet. Oh, and while you're doing that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button harder than a piñata at a child's birthday party. It'll keep you informed about all the thrilling things I have planned next. I assure you I'll return shortly with more to share. So until then, take care, stay curious, and I'll see you all in the next video. Same time, same place, or whenever the algorithm decides to bring us together again. Peace out.